Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent and Merciful. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to another video. Today we'll be learning the Fatiha, the Dammah and the Kasrah. But first, let's have a revision what we learned in my last video. We learned the 5 pillars of Islam. The 5 pillars of Islam help us to become a Muslim and enter Jannah. The first pillar is Shahada. The second pillar is Salah. The third pillar is Zakah. The fourth pillar is Sawm. And the last pillar of Islam is Hajj. Now let's move on to our lesson. If you want to read the Quran, our holy book in Islam, you have to learn the Fatiha, the Dammah and the Kasrah. Or else it wouldn't be easy peasy for you. Now let's add the Fatiha, the Dammah and the Kasrah for Alif and Ba. Just for a little example. Fatiha helps the letters makes the sound A. Let's write it with Alif. You should never forget, if you put a Fatiha, a Dammah and a Kasrah for Alif, on the top or bottom, you must put a Hamza. You might think with Ba you have to put a Hamza and the other letters. But all of the other letters, the 27 letters, there's 28 letters. Only Alif should have a Hamza. The 27 letters, they should not, because they're not like Alif. Now let's move on to the Dammah. The Dammah helps the letters makes the sound U. Now let's write it with Ba. And now let's use it with the Kasrah. The Kasrah looks like the Alif, but the opposite of the Kasrah is it's at the bottom and it has a different name and it makes a different sound. Like these. Now let's read their sounds. A, Ba, U, Bu, E, D. Sorry, because the time was short, I had to pause the video, or else the video would be so long. Now let's add the Fatiha, the Dammah and the Kasrah in the letters. You can see there are three of the same letters, like 3 Alifs, 3 Ba. Should I tell you why? Because this is for the Fatiha, this is for the Dammah, and this is for the Kasrah. Now let's start putting the Fatiha, Kasrah and Dammah in their places. First the Fatiha, and always remember a Hamza. Second, a Dammah, and always remember a Hamza. Now the opposite of the Fatiha, a Kasrah at the bottom and the Hamza. We do the same and keep repeating until we reach here. Fatiha, Dammah, Kasrah. 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 Fatiha, ضمة كسرة فتحة 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 ضمة and Kasrah. Now I'm going to read them all. A, U, I, B, 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 Ta, Tu, Ti, Tha, Thu, Thi, Ja, Ju, Ji, Ha, Hu, Hi, Ha, Ho, He, Da, Du, Di, Za, Zu, Zi, Ra, Ru, Ri, Za, Zu, Si, Sa, Su, Si, Sha, Shu, Shi, So, Su, Si, Za, Zu, Zi, Ta, Tu, Ti, Za, Zu, Zi, A, U, I, Ra, Ru, Ri, Fa, Fu, Fi, Qa, Qu, Qi, Ka, Ku, Ki, La, Lu, Li, Ma, Mu, Mi, Na, Nu, Ni, Ha, Hu, Hi, Wa, Wu, Wi, Ya, Yu, Yi. I hope you enjoyed this video. Assalamu alaikum.